thank you, and welcome to another edition of Fishmonger Stories. My name is George, but I go by the name Fishmonger Stories. Today, I have a story for you from Wembuso, Eswatini. Wembuso, Eswatini is a country, landlocked country in the southern of Africa, formerly known as Kingdom of Swaziland, until 2018, when they changed the official name from the Kingdom of Swaziland to Umbuso, Eswatini. It is a landlocked country that borders South Africa and Mozambique to the east. The capital city of Umbuso, Eswatini is Mbambane. The Kingdom of Swaziland, Umbuso, Eswatini, is an absolute monarchy, one of the last absolute monarchies still left in Africa. The official languages of Umbuso Eswatini is Siswati and English. Are you ready to hear a story from Umbuso Eswatini? Can I tell you a story? Are you ready for a story? Let's go. Once upon a time, hapo zamani za kale, Chongilala, there lived a poor man and his wife. The poor man and his wife, they had no children. Year upon year, they prayed for a miracle, but none came their way. But despite everything, the poor man and his wife, they loved each other. The poor man and his wife, they had a small farm and one cow that they depended on for milk. Can I tell you a story? Can I tell you a story? Every year during the planting season, the poor man and his wife, they would dig the land and bring out their one bag of seed and one bag of seed that they could afford, and toss out the seeds from which they would get their harvest for the following year. Every year they would till the land and bring out their one bag of seed and toss the seeds from which they would get their harvest for the year. Can I tell you a story? So for this year, the poor man and his wife, they tilled the land and they brought out their one bag of seed that they could afford. And they started to toss the seeds as they prayed, hoping for harvest the following year. While they were doing this, a mighty rush of wind came from the skies, and the poor old man and his wife, they looked up and they saw small black dots in the sky looming towards the earth. They looked up and these were birds. All of a sudden, cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo! There was a swoop of crows that came upon their land and started to eat up all the seeds that they had planted. And the old man, he turned to his wife and said, perhaps we should wait until the crows are gone, then we can plant again. And the wife looked at the husband and said, there is hardly any seeds left in the bag. Cuckoo, cuckoo! They looked up again, and there was a big crow that came from the skies again. This crow was very unique. This crow was big as Americas. This crow was so big, and it came and it had a white collar. It came and it stopped right in front of the poor old man and his wife. Can I tell you a story? And this crow did the most amazing thing that the old man and his wife had never seen. This crow spoke to them. This crow spoke to them and said, cuckoo, cuckoo! Do not withhold the seeds from the birds. For in giving the birds their happiness, then only shall you find your happiness. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo! Do not withhold the seeds from the bird. Cuckoo! For in giving the birds their happiness, then only shall you find your happiness. old man and his wife, they looked at each other. They could not believe a talking crow. Nevertheless, they had nothing, almost nothing in the bag. So they took the little of the seeds that were left in the bag and they tossed away. And cuckoo, 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 the crows came back and they ate and they ate. They ate all the seeds. And cuckoo, 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 the crows went away. The old man and his wife, they knew they were going to brace themselves for a very tough year. All their seeds gone. They had nothing to look forward to the following year. They held their hands and knew the following year would be a tough year for them. Yahweh gilo nyonuru lo nyonuru lo jajwok Yahweh gilo nyonuru lo nyonuru lo jajwok lo terumbuya majaru singa lo nyonuru lo jajwok lo teromata magetsemani lo nyonuru lo jajwok lo terajuma majara mogi lo nyonuru lo jajwok lo teruko mawodi seda lo nyonuru lo jajwok lo teragwenge majauremo lo nyonuru lo jajwok. They held their hands and they braced themselves for a very tough year the following year. Cuckoo, 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 came the white-colored crow and said, now that you have given the birds their happiness, now the birds are going to give you your happiness. Now that you have given the birds happiness, the birds are going to give you your happiness. Tomorrow, said the crow, I want you to take your one and only cow and slaughter it and feed the neighbors. And take the skin of the cow and put 8 organs in it. Take the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, the horns, the feet, and put in the bag. And sew the bag. Take the bag with you in your heart when you sleep at night. Do not talk to each other the whole night until the following morning when the crow crows again. Do not let any light be cast upon this skin. The old man and his wife, they looked at each other. Nevertheless, what else could they do? What else could they believe in? So the following day, they took their one and only cow and they slaughtered it and they invited the neighbors for a feast. The neighbors, they came and they ate. But the old man and his wife, he remembered the instructions of the crow and he took out the skin. And he put different organs like the liver, the kidney, the lungs, the feet, the horns, 8 different organs. And they put in the skin and he tied it nicely. He sewed it nicely. And that night, when they went to their hut to sleep, they closed the door. They closed the windows. They put patches on the doors and the window. They even put thick blankets on the gendambewa so no light could come in and shine upon the skin. The old man and his wife, they could not sleep. They held hands the whole night. They held hands so tightly until their knuckles became white. And then, in the middle of the night, a mighty wind, like a cyclone, a mighty wind, like a typhoon, a mighty wind like a tornado, came and pushed against the house, pushed heavily, and pushed, and pushed, and pushed, and pushed, and pushed. The old man and his wife, they held their hands tightly. Their knuckles became whiter. Their hearts were beating louder and faster. They could not sleep. But from the darkness, they could see the skin was starting to get bigger and bigger. The skin was getting bigger and bigger. And there were sounds coming from the skin. There were sounds coming from the skin. The skin was getting bigger. Their eyes adjusted to the darkness. They could see the skin was getting bigger and bigger, and the sounds coming. Can I tell you a story? Are you ready for a story? Can I tell you a story? The whole night, they held hands. They could not talk because the instructions were, do not talk until the crow crows in the morning. And they waited, and they waited, and they waited. They waited until the crack of dawn. And then they had, cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. The crow came back. And the old man and his wife, they woke up. The old man, he took a sharp machete and he moved closer to this bag, cow skin that had become so big, and sounds were coming from inside this bag. And he moved and he took out his machete and he started to open it from where he had sown the previous night. And as he opened it, can I tell you a story? Are you ready for a story? Oh, boys and girls, Nikwaramogi. When he opened it, he found 8 little children. 8 little children. And these 8 little children looked at the old man and his wife and said, Baba, Mama, feed us. We are hungry. Baba, Mama, feed us. Oh, you should have seen the joy in the hearts and the faces of the old man and his wife. But they didn't have any food to feed these 8 hungry little children that they had just received, that called them Baba, Mama. All of a sudden, cuckoo, 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 came the white-colored crow and said, you have done well. Now, I want you to gather all the dry cow dung and put them in the middle of your field and light a fire, and then you shall see what to feed the children. The old man, he gathered all the dry cow dung and he heaped them in the middle of the field, and he started a fire, and he blew into the little flames of fire turned into smoke. The thin smoke emanated from the top of the pile, and it became thicker, and this smoke became thicker and solidified. And out of nowhere was this beautiful tree, fruit tree that had all manner of fruits, all manner of fruits that you could think of. Umfofo, lijoti, the breadfruit, amarula, afwoto, the baobab fruit, papaya, tindlubu, watermelon, tamarind, matoke. Name any fruit was available in that tree. And cuckoo, 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 came back the crow and said, now you see what you can feed the children. Just remind the children that whenever they eat the fruits, to spit out the seeds and keep the seeds for the birds. For the birds. Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. The old man and his wife, they gave the fruits to the children and reminded the children, every time you eat your fruit, spit out the seeds. Spit out the seed. And from whence the children spat out the seeds, more trees, more fruits grew. And it wasn't long, the old man and his wife, they had an orchard a big orchard of fruits, and birds came from all over the world to eat of the orchard, to eat of the fruit, to eat of the trees, to eat of the seeds. Birds came all over from South Africa, from Mozambique, from Angola, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Somali, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Uganda, all over, Congo, Djibouti, Ghana, Nigeria, Mali, Gabon, Sierra Leone, all over Africa. The old man and his wife, their fame spread like bushfire. And people who came and talked to them about their orchard. And the people who came and said, we are asking of you to be our leader for the example that you have shown in feeding the birds and feeding humanity. The old man, he was made into a leader. He was made into a Mswati. And that is how the kingdom, Umbuso Eswatini, came to be. The old man was made a leader. And that's why when we eat our fruits, we spit out the seeds. Thank you for watching my story. If you like this story, please subscribe to Fishmonger's Stories. Go to our playlist. We have over 40 stories for children. We have over 39 stories for teenagers. We have over 50 general audience stories. We have over 60 inspirational stories. Share these stories with anyone who could use a story that entertains, challenges, and transforms them. Until later. Bye. Saisere. Gracias. Shukriya. Sheshe. Zaijien. Firmilenge. Katonda kusereke. Tutinda adong arom gibao makanera. May I grow to be as tall as the tallest tree in my uncle's homestead. Saisere.